So really this consciousness thing, to me, I think it's critical and essential to think about just what that means. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. I kind of think that the more sinister side of Christian history, which I know is very complex in America, and I want to say this, I'm speaking as a heathen. I don't go to church. I'm not gonna lie, but I respect the church. But there's a side of it that is designed to manipulate you so that you will do what you're told and not ask any questions. And I would definitely, absolutely, without a doubt, say that anybody who tries to get you to the point where you don't ask any questions is typically not your friend. So at least questioning the things that you get involved with is extremely important because your life is very important. When you don't ask questions and you allow others to guide your path, you end up in crazy, stupid situations where you're losing a whole lot more than they will ever be willing to lose. I think about that when I think about how my father told me about how he got into the Vietnam War. If you don't know, the Vietnam War was horrible for everybody that went to Vietnam. It was absolutely terrible. And he was telling me how it happened. He got into in a situation with a teacher where a school teacher, she saw him sleeping, so she threw a glass of water in his face. And so my father, being the kind of man he is, he took the cup and he went back to the water fountain. He filled it up with water and he threw it in her face. So she slapped him. He slapped her back. And he said, next thing I know, I was on a plane to Vietnam. And I thought and I thought about how terrible Vietnam was and how little he probably understood about how that would change the course of his life. He didn't understand all the what was going on with the drug addiction and all the people being killed. And he had a lot of friends that committed suicide because Vietnam was just so terrible. And part of the reason that he ended up there is partly because he was in a situation and he was a 17-year-old kid and his consciousness has not been fully developed. It's easier when you're sending people over to fight in a worthless war. It's easier for the politicians to get young people because young people are not yet conscious. Young people, their brains are not even fully developed. Their brains are not fully developed till they're 25 years old. Because anybody who gets to a certain age where they're like, hold up, wait a minute. Like, what am I? Wait, you trying to get me over here to get killed for you over a war that don't even matter? I'm not doing that. My life matters. And so one of the things that made my father very dangerous with him and his other black men that went to Vietnam is he said, I started listening to Muhammad Ali. Shout out to Muhammad Ali. He's from my hometown of Louisville, and my father knew him. They were all, it was like all downtown Louisville. They all kind of knew each other, but he was older. So Muhammad Ali comes along. He's older. His brain's fully developed. He's got a lot of power, influence, and he's very conscious. And therefore, he becomes the most dangerous black man in America because he gets on TV and says, ain't no Viet Cong never called me nigga. So my father, being 18, 19 years old, is like, yeah, they ain't never called me nigga either. So he becomes conscious. And then suddenly millions of black men are thinking this way, and that becomes a problem. So consciousness, it's contagious, just like a lack of consciousness can be very contagious. I think that hip hop music is designed to keep the black man and the black woman very unconscious. That's why you have all this chaos happening right now. You have all these people getting accusations and lawsuits and arrested and all this other stuff. Well, because your consciousness was stolen from you. Money can do that. Money is a drug. So the money they were pouring on you made you get out here and make a damn fool out of yourself, made you actively participate in a culture that was going to look very bad on you 20 or 30 years later when you're a grandfather and you're trying to explain to your daughter why you were sleeping with a 16-year-old 20 years ago, right? But you did it because that was the culture. They sort of got you to go to sleep and got you to reduce your consciousness to the point where you were going to